Hey everyone, I hope you're all having an amazing day. My name is Fatin Muhtad. I am a third-year medical student at the University of Balamand in Lebanon, and I'm a Master Resident Ambassador. First of all, I'd like to welcome you all to Master Residence YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the very common question of tell me about yourself. It is something that we get asked on med school interviews and residency interviews, and whenever we want to apply to anything really. It's a very common question, and I'm going to tell you how to answer it, give you some tips and tricks, what to do, what not to do. And although this is a very personal question and the answer is going to differ a lot from one person to another, I am going to give you a sample of what I would personally answer when someone asks me this question, so you guys can get some ideas and some inspiration. So if that's something that you're interested in, then please continue watching this video and subscribe to Master Residence YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up before you leave, and let's get started. I know that answering open-ended questions can be a bit scary for some people, but I really don't want you to be scared of this question. I want you to make use of it in as much as you can, because it is a chance for you to show your personality, especially during residency interviews. Interviewers really want to know who you are as a person, because they want to make sure that you are someone that they can work with every single day for the next at least 3 years of their lives. And remember that this is usually the first question you're asked, so it's really good to leave like a good solid first impression. So one thing you really don't want to do is that you don't want to ramble. Don't go talking on and on about things that are really irrelevant. It's gonna bore the person who is interviewing you. It's gonna waste their time. It's gonna waste your time. You really don't want to go beyond 3 minutes. Another thing you don't want to do is that you don't want to go to the interview unprepared for this question, because it's going to be very hard to collect all of your thoughts on the spot and like reflect on your life and decide what you want to say and what you don't want to say. So make sure that you have like at least an outline and like a flow of ideas that you know that you want to talk about. However, do not memorize, because your answers should come off as genuine and authentic and true to yourself. And you also don't want to repeat what's written in your CV. I mean, they have your CV, they can easily like go through it and read it. This is your chance to talk about things that really didn't have any place in your application, but things that you think are important. So now for the things that you actually do want to talk about, there's obviously multiple different ways to approach this question, but the way that I personally like the most and the one that I think is the most comprehensive is to talk a bit about your past, your present, and your future. While talking about your past, you can just quickly mention a sentence or two about, you know, your childhood, if anything like very like where you grew up, or if anything very inspirational happened with you that made you decide that you want to become a doctor. You can talk about that a little bit, and then you can talk about your undergrad experience, your experience in med school, what you did there, your extracurricular activities, your hobbies. You know, and the way you talk about them is completely different than what you have written down in your CV. Take this as an opportunity to talk about how each experience helped shape you. For the present, talk about where you are right now, if you're a med student, if you're a resident in your home country, if you are a research fellow, and whatever is currently going on in your life. And the part where you talk about your future, this is where you talk about what you want to become, your aspirations, and this is a really good place to show the interviewer that you have done your research. You know that this hospital you're applying to, like, it completely aligns with what you personally want to achieve. Another thing that really goes without saying is that make sure that you are super professional all the time. Make sure that you are not talking about like your private life, your relationships, your pets, I don't know. Make sure that it's very professional. And while it's very important to be very professional, it's also very important to show them how passionate you are about what you're doing, about this new position you're applying for. Don't just tell them that I'm passionate about medicine, I'm passionate about this certain specialty. No, show them that you're passionate about it. If you have an inspirational story, definitely do share it. Let them have a sense, like let them feel your passion. So we've reached the last part of this video where I'm going to share with you how I would answer this question of tell me about yourself. I'm from Lebanon, a small country in the Middle East. I was born and raised there, and my entire childhood, I was always a very creative, artistic kid. And my entire life, I thought that I was gonna major in like art or design. It was actually not until the last year of high school that I decided I want to become a doctor and go to med school. I really realized that all of this art that I was kind of looking for, in clothes and in fashion, they're all really found within our bodies. Really, my journey so far, every day has been a validation of this point that there is so much art in medicine. I majored in biology pre-med at the University of Balaman. I also really worked on building a lot of a connection with my community, trying to give back to my community and like forming connections with other people. And at that time, I also discovered my passion for makeup, and I started also venturing into the world of social media. I opened a YouTube channel and where I would post like makeup tutorials and makeup videos. And then I started med school, and it was definitely a different experience for us because the pandemic had just hit. And I think that we did spend the entirety of our first 2 years like fully remote. Also taught me a lot about resilience, and it taught me just exactly like how much I wanted this. And I am currently a third-year medical student. I'm also a social media content creator. I'm creating content for medical students about different medical topics. I'm creating educational topics for the general population. I'm also an ambassador for Master Resident and a member of the IJCR journal. I am a member of the social media chapter where we have this series on Instagram where it's called the Scrubbing series, where we shed light on the different medical fields to hopefully help medical students decide on what specialty they want to go into. And speaking of specialties, it wasn't actually until this year. It was the first time I ever got to scrub in on a surgery. I got to assist and suture at the end, and like right then and there I knew that I am gonna become a surgeon. It was the greatest feeling in the world. Okay, so one last thing, this is where you're supposed to talk a lot more about what you want out of your future and your values and the things that are important to you, and talk about how the hospital you're applying for is a perfect fit for what you are looking for. Like your values align, your beliefs align, and you'd make a great pair basically. So this is where you would talk a little bit more about that. I'm not gonna go into details because right now I'm not applying to anything, obviously. So we reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a thing or two from it. And if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more videos like this.